MeTV 24 Meridian proudly presents your favorite way to start the day. Welcome to Mornings with Scotty Ray and Candace.
And good morning from Scotty Ray and Candace. It is Friday, and you probably won't have this good of weather for quite some time.
I know. It is so nice outside.
56 this morning at Keyfield, and as you go across the county and north and south and east, not over 58 degrees. It's been perfect.
I know. I can't wait till it's like this for, several days straight. I'm just ready for it.
Our high today is going to reach 83. You can't beat that. In about 2 weeks, we're going to have another spurt of this to where it'll be 81, 82 for about 3 or 4 days in a row. So we got good weather. We're not going to get above the 90s for the next 2 weeks. It's going to be 88, 89 at highest. So
It's so nice.
I hope we don't see any more of those excessive heat watches or any. I hope that's gone.
Yeah, I hope so too. We're camping this weekend, so maybe it'll be just right to put a fire outside.
What's the occasion for the camping trip?
Well, it's my son's birthday, my little one. He's 7 years old today. Happy birthday to Alden. If anybody sees him at school, if you are watching this morning, tell him happy birthday. But yeah, he's 7 years old. So we decided just to go camping for his birthday since, the COVID's going on and we didn't want to have a big party and all that. So,
Let's talk about your extracurricular activities that you do into the middle of the night. And you were working on birthday cakes?
Yes. My daughter's birthday was September 1st. My grandson's birthday was July the 24th, and we were supposed to have a party, but of course COVID messed that up. Somebody had gotten exposed and we couldn't have it. So anyway.
Do you have any great grandkids?
No, I do not.
Okay, I'm just asking.
I do not.
Had a list there, folks.
And then today is Alden's birthday, so I wasn't sure if my daughter was going to get to come home, so I have not done hers yet, decorated it.
Oh, so you don't get a birthday cake if you don't come home is what I heard out of this, y'all.
But I did do Alden's. His is a camping thing.
Let's look at this thing here, what you've made here. Now, what is this right here? Is that hands? What is that?
That's a tent.
Okay. All right. Okay, I see it now. And that's a little backpack? Sleeping bag. Oh, yeah, with the...
You can see it rolled up from the other side, but yeah.
Gotcha. And these are rocks, a little fire.
Yeah.
And a stream.
River. Yeah.
So that
was his little camping. I've still got to make a little sign that says Camp Alden, but...
Well, that's pretty neat there. And you were up. And here's the other cake you've made.
Yeah, that's my little grandson's little cake that we did, or that I did. So, but yeah.
And what is that? A fox and an owl?
A fox and an owl and a raccoon. Yeah.
Well, so you've been doing cakes long?
I've always done it for my kids. That's really the only thing I do it for. Though, I don't know, because I'm not great at it, but I do okay, I guess.
Okay.
So, it beats paying a lot of money to get somebody else to do it.
Candace all on her own doing her cakes there.
Yes.
Well, good job there. We do appreciate it. Now, we've got several special guests coming up this morning. Let's go. This is pretty neat. The Meridian Little Theater has got a play starting on Saturday night. And let's cut to these young ladies who are bright, up and early. How are y'all doing?
Good morning.
So the play kicks off Saturday night?
Yes, sir.
And by looking at the shirts, I'm going to guess here the name of it is Back to the 80s.
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
You would be correct.
So tell us, showtime, what time does it get underway?
7:00 on Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday, which is when it runs through. And then Sunday is a 2:00 matinee.
Now, for all of us who are sitting back, all right, what is the play about? Back to the 80s. What is the concept of it? What do you do?
Okay, so basically, Back to the 80s is like this very 80s reminiscent of 80s movie show with 80s music. It's very much nostalgia, like in a show. So if you
a lot of
live
Rubik's
through the 80s,
cubes.
yeah, a lot of Rubik's cubes, a lot of references to things from the 80s, just very in your face 80s.
So speaking of, can y'all do the Rubik's Cube? Do y'all know how to do that?
I have never been able to master it. My brother, on the other hand, has and can do it in about a minute.
I have never solved one.
The
jealous.
easiest
I
thing
really
is
am.
to take the stickers off and put them back on.
Yeah, that's a good tactic. I have to try that sometime.
Just take the stickers off and, make it look like you just really mastered every side.
And my bad. Let me introduce everybody, and we'll start with Rachel. How are you, Rachel?
Good. How are you?
Now, this is Rachel Thaggart. What part do you play?
I play Sydney Gibson, who's kind of like the stereotypical, like, mean, popular girl. I
Oh.
wear a lot of neon pink lipstick, a lot of scrunchies. Really get
Yeah.
to the point with that one.
So is it like 80s hairdo also going to be involved in this?
Yeah, it takes place in like a very John Hughes type 80s high school.
Uh-huh.
So we've got like all the very classic, like, think Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club type characters, very neon, a lot of like acid wash denim. Like, it's very, very 80s.
Believe it or not, I still got my denim jacket not far from here that I could slap on real quick.
I mean,
Now, does anybody have parachute pants?
Oh, the
I don't even know. That might have been like later on in the 80s, late in the 80s. I don't know.
there might be someone in that cast.
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
can't imagine there
Or
not
was it?
being.
Or was that 1990s?
I don't know. I don't think it was.
think that
'cause
might have been the
early 90s. I
think early
graduated in
90s.
92, and we were
Yeah.
way beyond parachute pants then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on
It
a
would have had to
limb.
been in the 80s, late 80s.
I ain't never wore no parachute breeches.
I can't.
Scotty Ray's a jeans and boots kind of guy. Yeah.
So, all right, next, Piper, tell us about your character.
Hi, my character is Cindy's best friend, Tiffany Houston. She is the just the girl next door. She is kind of the love interest for two of the other characters. Actually, it's kind of a little love triangle that's going on, and she's kind of in the middle of it. And yeah.
And again, that's Piper Gonzalez. So you've got a major part to play there. And next, we come to Miss Maggie Freeman. Maggie, tell us about your part and what you're going to be doing in the play.
Okay, so my part's a little bit different than theirs. I play a teacher at the school, so
Uh-oh.
there's students, and I'm a teacher, and there's only 2 teachers that you see throughout the show, and I'm one of them, and the other teacher is my love interest.
Oh.
So my whole part in the show basically is I'm a teacher, and I love these kids, and then I'm dating this other teacher, and we kind of
Secretly.
have something happens, right? And
Yeah.
we have a little bit of conflict. And that's my whole character arc throughout the season.
Now, is everybody in the play younger, or do you have like old folks like me and Candace?
No, this show, all of the cast members, for front and center, the deadline, like the oldest age is 19. So I think our youngest cast member is 13. Right?
Yes.
So
Just
I
turned
think,
15.
yeah, right now we have a range of 13 to 18 right now. So
And we have 33 cast members.
Yes.
So we have a lot of kids, and everyone is doing their part really well. It's a real team effort.
Now, and I want to say this because normally there's a lot goes on behind the scenes that nobody out in the audience ever sees. Y'all bound to have a lot of people that work behind the getting the sets ready and
Yes.
putting it together.
Yes.
So big kudos to them also.
Yes. Yes. We have 2 great directors. We have my brother, actually, who's off to the side here, came with us as our stage manager, Caleb. We have multiple people working in costumes and props, as well as cast members who stay late after practices, painting props and putting them together. So it really is a big team effort, and it's really what keeps the show going.
Now, with anything, I know there's always new plays that are going to be coming up. And if you're sitting back watching this going, you don't have to be a teenager. There are other plays that come up that have different ages. If you're thinking, boy, I sure would like to do this, what do you do? Do you just show up at the Marina Little Theater? Is there a casting call? How does that normally work?
Yes. Okay, so we've all been doing theater for a really long time, so I feel like we're pretty qualified to talk about this.
Yeah.
What normally happens, and there's shows at MLT and MCC that have various age ranges. Like this one is just for 13 to 19-year-olds, but there are some shows that are more aimed towards even younger people, like 7 to however old. And then there's some shows where the oldest of old people, not that that's a bad thing if you're old, but yeah, the age range, it varies per show. And basically what you would do if you wanted to be in a show, they'll have auditions, they'll announce it, and you show up and you sing a song or do a monologue, whatever they specify. They'll tell you ahead of time most of the times. And then you find out in a few days if you made it into the show or not.
Yeah, usually, if you're around the area that Meridian Little Theater is located, they usually put audition information on the billboards or post it on Facebook or really just word of mouth. I mean, it gets around. I have never been to an empty audition when it comes to MLT. So
True.
Well, that's neat. All right, now tell us again when tickets are, how you can get them, what days the shows are going to be happening. Is it sold out? Is it still available? Tell us all that good stuff.
So we still have tickets available for each night, I believe, but they are going pretty fast. So we have Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. All shows are going to be at 7. And then on Sunday, we have a 2:00 matinee. You can buy tickets at the door, or you can go on meridianlittletheater.com and order them online. It's open seating, so if you want good seats, you need to get there about maybe an hour before the show starts to get your tickets and to find your seats. So.
All right. Well, ladies, we cannot thank y'all enough for coming by and
Yeah, thank you.
And we wish y'all good luck with the play. I know you'll do great.
Thank you.
I bet it's going to be really good.
do y'all really use that term break a leg, or is that just?
We use it. We use it.
And I used to know the story behind that, but Lord help me, I have forgotten it.
You know, someone told us, someone was talking about it yesterday, and I completely forgot.
Wait,
I've been using it. Oh, she's got it. There she
I
is.
think what it means is, well, in the theater, the wings, they're called legs.
Yeah.
So whenever you like enter onto the stage, you're like breaking a leg. So it's like just
Like
kind of
breaking
like
through the-
like breaking through onto the stage. Like go do a good job. Go break the leg.
Oh, well, cool.
Okay, didn't know that. What if that's just not it?
Don't quote us on that.
Yeah, take this with a grain of salt, please. Anything else is factual. This we don't know.
Well, again, thank y'all so much. This is going to be at the Meridian Little Theater. It kicks off Saturday night, and it's back to the 80s. Ladies, thank y'all for coming by and spending a few
thank
moments
you.
with us.
Y'all. Thank you.
Appreciate you so much. As we turn to talk about our friend at Chet's Paint and Body, you'll find them out in Center Hill. Some great folks there. If you need anything done to your car, Chet is the person to go see. He's done this for many, many moons. He's a lot older than I am. Yeah, you believe that, don't you, Chet?
I bet he'll love that.
Go by and see Chet, though. If you need anything done to your car, a dent, a scratch, anything major, they can handle this for you. Go by and see them. Trucks, cars that have been damaged, bent up, well, they've got that also. As you see, this is one of those Ford trucks that they've done work on there. They can fix it in a heartbeat there. This is a F-150 that's had to have a little body work. That's those aluminum beds. You go on with front end work, anything that may be done. A great paint booth. They can put back a classic the way it was, any way you want to do it. Chet's Paint and Body. See them today. Again, they'll process all the insurance work for you. 737-2961 is the telephone number to reach Chet. They'll handle that insurance work for you and take care of everything for you. More coming up with Scotty Ray and Candace. Hang close.
Big trucks, they're loud, intimidating, and they'll run over anything in their way. I know because I've gone face to face with 18-wheelers and the insurance companies for more than 30 years. I'm attorney Richard Schwartz. We won over $1 billion for the injured because we don't settle for less, and we never back down from a fight. Call me today and let me help you get the money you deserve. One call, that's all.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace. Again, this is Friday. Doesn't it feel good to have the weekend upon us as we get ready to, do something?
It does, even though I'm going to need a nap in about an hour.
What is
I
it?
won't get it, but I need one.
Honestly, if you, because I don't get this, because I can't do it. I reach a point to where I shut down. But you stayed up half night making a cake?
Oh, gosh. I was up until 3:45 this morning. I got a bath at 3:45 this morning.
I'm glad you got that.
So crazy. Yeah, I was. And then, of course, I got like a second wind, after I got in the hot bath. And I was like, oh, gosh. But, yeah, I didn't get much sleep. Trying to get the cakes done and stuff. So.
And then you're leaving camping tonight with no sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, this is just really getting better.
I might
and
have
better.
to take a power nap, like right before we leave or something. Maybe 30 minutes or something. I don't know. I'll be fine.
If any of y'all ever seen my dog Sophie laying on the floor in here with her legs up in the air like that when we cut to her, that's the way I am with no sleep.
That's probably how I'll be. If I sit still long enough and nobody's talking to me, somebody will probably have to come wake me up. So, yeah.
Coming up, we've got a bunch of stories that are affecting you that are around the nation. We'll tell you all about what's shaping the nation this morning and things locally here, there, and yonder. But I talked to someone just I guess it was yesterday, and we were talking about the TV show Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And joining us now, live in the studio, let's cut over to the camera here, and here she is, Miss Delina Davis. Hey, Delina.
Hey.
Now, you were telling me, where were you when you ran up on the production crew of this bunch?
Well, I was at a cutting horse show in West Monroe, Louisiana,
Been there?
and real nice places. Like Hamilton, the Expo Center, and there's the horses, cutting horses come from all over the country. I mean, we're talking everywhere, and you see the best of the best. There's non-pros, there's amateurs, there's professionals, trainers that are there, and Yellowstone is producing this show and backing it up. And in conjunction with that, they're doing a free donation for Hurricane Ida. In other words, you can go to the show, it doesn't cost you anything.
Right.
You just go in there and you give any amount, and they have a silent auction they're doing, and all these proceeds go to Hurricane Ida.
There's a lot of folks in Louisiana. Now, you've been through Louisiana. What does it look like from your angle? You drove through it. How bad is it down there?
Well, I haven't actually been down there, Scotty Ray. I used to live in New Orleans years and years ago, but I've got friends, real close friends, that have had to come to Meridian. And they said, one of my friends, I think they actually had to they had to get cut out of the roof. They tried to ride the storm out. And unfortunately, the water got so high that they had to, they got on Facebook. I saw it on Facebook. I panicked. I called whoever I could call, and anyway, they end up going and getting them and cutting out the roof. And
so that means water rose higher and higher, and
They were just trying to get away from it, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
terrible.
goodness.
Very, very scared. They said they'd ridden them out before, never been that scared. They said the water was just, of course, in New Orleans, you could be somewhere and it'd come a rainstorm or a shower, and you could go out to the parking lot and there'd be water up to your truck, or there'd be water in the streets. It's like, and I was like, why does it do this? What's below sea level?
And I brought this up yesterday. John Snyder, who was Bo Duke on television, he's been really busy this week out with his production crew, feeding the power line companies, doing what they could. And Yellowstone, this is pretty neat for the TV show to get involved and help the folks.
I think
Not a lot of companies do that.
That's right. It's absolutely impressive. They have put millions of dollars into the National Reining Horse Association. They just had a reining. It was a run for the million in, I think it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, and now they're actually doing the cutting in West Monroe, Louisiana. And Taylor Sheridan, if you watch the Yellowstone show, if you'll watch at the end of the show, it'll say, producer Taylor Sheridan. He actually rides reining and cutting horses, and he's the one that kind of runs the show. And he's just gotten real involved in it and really promoting the National Cutting Horse Association and the National Reining Horse Association. And also there's a Rein Cow Horse Association. It's a whole bunch of different things. With cutting, it's the best 2.5 minutes of your life.
Really?
I've ridden everything, I think, from Western pleasure horses to reining horses to barrel horses. And you go in the arena, you have 30 cattle at the end of the arena. You walk in and you got two guys at the far end. You got two guys at the back. You got four helpers basically. And what you do is you ride in, you have to go to the back of the fence, you ride all this herd out. Well, all these cattle go out and you're thinking, oh gosh, I got to get one out of all these cows. So you just pray your horse knows what he's doing. Well, let me tell you, these horses have a God-given talent, I believe. It's just a ride of a lifetime. You go out there and actually the horse, you go out there and you pick a certain cow, you actually study your cattle, if you can believe that. And you drive a cow out and then you work it. And basically what you're doing, you're trying to get that cow out in front of you and keep him from going back to the herd, because their natural instincts go back to the herd. Well, that cow goes running across the arena. And when you go to work that cow and you get him where you want, you got to drop your hand. Okay, basically you're riding with a loose rein. You cannot pick up your reins. You cannot guide that horse. All you can do is sit on that horse. You can use your legs and your feet a little bit, but that horse has got to know where that cow's going to go. And you got to watch that cow, because if you're looking at your horse, trying to figure out where he's going, you're going to be sitting on the ground. That's happened a lot of times. But anyway, you have to do 3 cows in 2.5 minutes, and it is a thrill of a lifetime. And you can pay $200 an entry fee, you can pay $5,000 an entry fee, or you can pay up to $10,000 an entry fee. The more you pay, the more you win. But it's like playing the lottery. It's a hit or miss, because if one of those cows get around you and your helpers don't, they're out there on the ends of the arena trying to keep that cow in the middle for you, trying to help you, but they can't do any more but just kind of stand there in the corner if it goes to try to, because he's going to try to run out beside you. So It's just
It'd be tough for me to decide how much to ante up to do that.
I'd like to see Scotty Ray on one to
Oh, I'm telling you, it's the most challenging riding I've ever done. I've ridden English, Western, like I said, run barrels, done the radios, and I've always said if you could ride a cutting horse, I believe you could ride anything.
Speaking of, let me show this picture here. What's the name of your horse?
That was when I was about 45 years ago, probably, but no, not really. His name is Poco Coyote Rio.
Yeah.
He was a horse that I got out of retirement because I was told by professional trainers, you're going to learn on a cutting horse, you're going to get an older horse because an older horse will basically take care of you. A young horse gets nervous and you're just better off getting an older horse. Well, I got him at 19 and I took him around a couple of trainers here. And the probably the best trainer here in Mississippi, as far as I'm concerned, in cutting is Alan Crouch of Noxapater, Mississippi. He's kind of semi-retired now, but he's the one that helped me with this horse. And he told me, he said, Delina, this horse, you can learn a lot on him. In fact, he can teach you more than I probably can. So I started out with him, and then the guy that won, he won $1 million on my horse in 1987. It was called the Gold and Silver, and his name was Bill Riddle. Well, I called him up, and I said, look, you don't know me. I'm from Mississippi, but I'm having a hard time riding this horse. He's kind of pushing up on the cattle and stuff. And I said, if I come out there, they were having a Bible cutting clinic. Well, I didn't know exactly what that was. I knew I was doing a lot of praying anyway, so I figured I'd fit right in. So I went all the way out to New Mexico with this horse, and we rode in a clinic for a week or 2 weeks. And he looked at me and he said, honey, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I don't think you're going to be able to ride him. And I said, you know what? Maybe I can't. I said, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because the people I had got him from, unfortunately, had let him go down really bad. In fact, the vet told me I'd never save him. I bought the horse because I was with my mother that is recently, she's deceased now. But she said, Delina, I know you can get that horse and nobody will know him in 90 days. But I was real nervous and I paid a lot of money for him to be in that shape. And when I called the insurance company, they said, we don't insure a horse over 17. I was like, what? And I was like, oh, Lord, So anyway, I went out there. I did really well in the clinic. The guy, he yelled at me. I cried. I
Not
stopped.
you.
Yes. I mean, you know me, I'm like, if somebody says I can't do something, well, they just set me on. I mean, it's like, okay, that just stirred me up. So he said, so I went and rode him. And at the end of the week, the trainer, this guy's a legend. He's like an excess of probably $5 million rider. He's won that much money in earnings. And he come up to me and he said, I've been kind of hard on you, huh? And I said, you think? And so we had a little show at the end, and I was the last one to ride, and our team was up against another team, and he told me, he said, get that Bramer on the back fence. And I thought, what? All the way to the back fence? And so I went in there with Poco, and this horse, I think he loved to cut a cow more than he loved life itself, and I could always depend on him. He was going to take care of me. So anyway, we cut and we won it, and I was like, and so this little redneck girl from Mississippi is what they thought, but anyway, I showed him out there. I could ride him, and he said, now, I'm going to tell you what to do. You go back to Mississippi and show him. And he said, you call me when you get out because I know you're going to win it. And I said, I don't think so. Well, he told me how to ride him, and I was so nervous I stuck a little yellow piece of sticky down in the hole of my saddle because you had to ride him a certain way on the cattle. I done that
on a date one time.
Anyway, and I rode him, and I won the class. Oh, my gosh. I was screaming and hollering. I bet those judges thought, oh, Lord, she must have never ridden a horse or won a show in her life before, And when I went to the show, everybody all over the country, this horse, he is known still to today. When I was in West Monroe, Louisiana last week, several people come up and said, didn't you used to own Poco Coyote Rio? And I said, I did. And they said he was the most awesome cutting horse. He's, to this day, he holds the National Cutting Horse Association record of winning the most money.
That's good.
No one has ever surpassed him. And let me tell you, they've got some phenomenal cutting horses. And there's a lot of people in Mississippi that participate, but it's a lot of money. And I think my husband's like, bless his heart, he's just, I don't know how it's a wonder he hadn't left
the
me.
The life of a rodeo husband.
I know. Cutting.
But, it's wonderful that Yellowstone is doing all this. And in closing, let me ask this. You're bound to watch the show like I do.
Oh, yeah.
So who do you think shot Kevin Costner? Who is it behind all this? It's November that the show is going to continue. Who's guilty here?
I believe November the 7th is going to be the series coming back on.
I watched it enough.
You need to.
Oh my
I
gosh, it's
watched
good.
some of it, but I haven't been keeping up with it to see who it might have been.
Yeah, they got shirts out, Beth Dutton, don't bring out the Beth Dutton in me. I mean, she plays a really good part. But of course, I love Kevin Costner. He can ride any of my horses anytime. If I could just get to Taylor and tell him I got one at home he'd love. But anyway, I don't know who shot him. I don't. But if you notice in all of Kevin Costner's movies, he always dies. He always dies at the end. In most of them,
I don't think he ain't gonna kick the bucket on this one. And they may take somebody else out.
I don't know.
Him and Rip, and then the son that may become the governor. I think they're kind of there to stay.
Right. And what's the guy that's the redheaded guy that rides and breaks all the horses? Is kind of wild and kind of underdog.
You're talking about the one that little scrawny guy that used to be the drug addict?
Oh yeah.
I like him.
Bless his heart.
Is that the one he picked him up outside of the prison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brought him on back.
They actually had some cutting horses. Reining horses on one of the series where they were running down the arena. And reining, you run down and you stop and you slide like 20 feet. These horses have sliders on the back shoes and they can slide 20 feet. Woo. And then you do a spin. In other words, you sit on this horse and they spin like 4 or 5 times. And I mean, it's so fast. And the first time I ever did it, I sat back and my trainer said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm so dizzy, I can't see." And he said, "Well, you got to look straight ahead. You can't look down at that horse spinning under you." I said, "Well, how do you not look down when something's spinning that fast up under you?" And anyway, but he was in that show, and they had Mandy McCutcheon, and she's like a $5 million rider, and her husband's a trainer, and her son just went over to. They've been as far as like France and England, and they go and they transport these horses on airplanes, and these cutting horses. I mean, it's nothing to pay. I think one sold this summer as a yearling now. A yearling. All you can do is put a halter. No, you can't even ride him.
Yeah.
And Billy Wolf out of Texas bought a yearling for $1,050,000. And I said, "Oh my gosh!" And I have a mare now that she's got some big horseshoes to fill as far as Poco goes, but she's already won 50-something thousand.
That's good.
My goal is to get her to 100,000, and we're going to campaign her for the world next year in Fort Worth, Texas, where they have the finals. And I'm going to go out to Seymour, Texas, which is in the middle of nowhere. It's got jackrabbits and everything else.
Yeah.
And I mean, we go out there and ride, and we're going to campaign her. So. And her name is the best name in the world for a cutting horse, Looking Sneaky. How much?
That is pretty good. Well, Delina, thanks for coming in and telling us about what they're doing. It is good to know that you watch a television show and that they do care about the folks that do everything.
And just to let you know real quick, they have this West Monroe, Louisiana. If you go over there, like I said, it's a really, really nice facility. And they have paid out in the last 5 years $2,365,000. This show alone is paying out $177,000.
That's wonderful.
And all the finals are Sunday. That's the best day to go. So if you want to go see 2.5 minutes of the most exciting action on dirt, I'm telling you.
That's it.
And the most expensive action on dirt.
I bet so.
But anyway, that's what, I've just got this cutting horse addiction. I love it. And, but it's a lot of, you put a lot of time. People don't realize how much time. It's just like the barrel racers. You spend hours and hours and hours working horses, along with the other nice chores you have to do.
Oh, I bet so.
But hey, it keeps you in shape,
Yeah.
So,
I bet so.
Or maybe some.
Yeah. Well, Delina, thank you for coming by and telling us about all that. That's interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, listen, whenever you want to ride a cutting horse, just call me. I'll put you on one.
Yeah.
I will do
And
that.
I'll be there filming.
Thank you, Delina. We certainly appreciate it.
Okay.
Making my way back home from the grocery store, I was struck by an 18-wheeler. It was horrible. My life changed in an instant, and I discovered I needed help.
I'm Mississippi Attorney Richard Schwartz. I'm proud to represent the people of the great state I call home.
Hurricane season is here, and like most Mississippians, you know the drill. Organize a severe weather safety kit, know how to safely use a generator, and have a plan of action to keep your family safe if a hurricane threatens. And when outages do occur, you can now report and view current outages through our free smartphone app or website at emepa.com. Remember, when storms come in, be ready if the power goes out. East Mississippi Electric Power Association is your local Touchstone Energy cooperative.
Snowden and Company, well, if you're looking for a home, they've got plenty for you to choose from. You can drop by and take a look at all they offer. You can visit them online. That's one of the easiest ways you can do, or call them, 453-3937. They're going to be located right there in the North Hills area. If it's time to sell, talk to Amanda. Let her describe to you how simple this is, how easy they make this on you to get the most that you can for your home. The biggest investment that you'll ever do there. Their extraordinary marketing strategy. They got skill negotiating and hands-on coordination to walk you through this. There's a lot of paperwork that if you've never bought or sold a home that, well, you probably don't know about. They're experts at it. They'll handle it for you and make it simple. Simple homes from the most, if you're downgrading or upgrading, whichever the case is, Lauderdale, Kemper, Newton, Neshoba, Clark. They also now handle Brandon, Flowood, Madison, in the Forest area. That's a lot of places there, and they can help you out. Again, SnowdenRealEstate.com is the number to call. They can tell you all about it there. Some happy folks there that sold their home. See Amanda. She'll help you there, and she's got plenty of representatives to help you through this. Again, that number is 601-453-3937. Great folks, and you'll enjoy yourself there. And as we travel toward 8 o'clock this morning, 9 o'clock this morning, as we said, we hope to have a great weekend. The weather's going to be perfect for all of this. We got some stuff brewing out the coast of Africa. 5 days, we want to watch that. Show the back of the shirt that Delina dropped off for us. That's pretty neat there.
Well, here's the front. Isn't that cute?
Yellowstone.
I think that's like the one she's got on.
Yeah.
And then it's
Yellowstone. Pretty cool there.
That is cool.
So
I love it.
Now
to wear that can.
I'm really hooked. I can't wait to see what happens on that first episode of Yellowstone. Again, there's a lot of folks that the language is kind of rough. I wish they hadn't done that, but it's there. But nonetheless, it's a good show, and if you can omit that part, you can get past it there.
Yeah, I don't know why they have to throw that in all the time, very often.
Yeah. It's like the remake of the Dukes of Hazzard.
Like three in one sentence.
Did I really just see that? Don't watch that with kids. As we start to learn a few things about Joe, who came out yesterday, this is headlines everywhere. They're going to make federal employees get the vaccination. All federal employees will be forced to do this. But we find out this morning, here's the headline from the New York Post. The post office is exempt. And I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I didn't know that was a separate.
Yeah, you get into the fine paperwork of the United States Post Office, and they have different guidelines that go by. So they encourage the U.S. Post Office to do this, but they can't force them. I never would have known that.
I know. I don't understand why that would be so separate. I mean,
it's not like it's making money. Hello, it's been on the downhill climb for a while. And how do you feel about now the mask mandate, where at airports and things you got to wear them? I get it, but fines. I did not realize at an airport that you could get a fine for not wearing a mask. It was $1,500, and Joe upped the ante yesterday to $3,000, and a TSA agent can issue this to you. I briefly mentioned this morning, but I had no idea that you could be fined like that. $3,000.
That's a lot. I mean,
I think it's cheaper to drive.
Yeah.
And you can do what you want in your own car.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand wearing a mask, like in the airplane, when you're confined to that space and, if one person had the virus, I mean, it would probably spread like wildfire.
Well, it boils down to this, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this. You board an airplane, you know that that's what they want. And if you don't agree with that, then don't ride the plane.
Right. You don't have to get on the plane. But
I've seen so many.
Don't be surprised when they do find you if you don't have your mask.
Like the children that were like 2 years old, we saw many stories like this where a child wouldn't have one on. A child is a child, and they were throwing the entire families off of planes. And I have hardship with that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, if a child has the virus, they can still spread it like an adult, but it is hard to keep a child in a mask. I don't know what the answer to that is, or, I don't know.
I don't have all the answers.
A 2-year-old, I mean,
it's excessive, isn't it?
Right. I mean, it would be hard to keep them in a mask. It's hard to keep 6 and 7 years.
It's hard to keep
or even adults in a mask sometimes, and I know it's not convenient. I mean, I've started back wearing them at work, and my clients wear them at work, and most people are, they're okay with it. But there's been a couple that didn't like having to do it. But
and my stance on it is, if I do business with somebody that wants that, I'll think long and hard before I go in if I want to do that. But if you do business with them and they ask you to do it, wear it. If you don't agree with it, just don't shop there. Go somewhere else that doesn't require that if the mask bothers you that much. Because I'm telling you, there's a story. Did you see this? Let me see if I can find this. It was a headline this morning to where at a school, a kid was quarantined because he came in contact with another child that had the COVID. Well, they quarantined the child. The daddy gets mad and convinces two of his best buddies to head on up to the school with him with zip ties to get the principal.
So they're going to confine the principal to where?
You know, what were you thinking? I mean, really, was that thought
crazy.
out?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Somebody probably went and bailed them out.
and they went on down to the jailhouse.
Yeah, I would imagine so. You go, I mean,
you cannot
confront somebody with some zip ties or some, I
can't believe somebody thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
I mean, were they shooting pool the night before at his garage, or they having a cold one?
Did he have him a drink before he went? To make him think that was good to do. I don't know. It's just crazy to me, people, the way they think. But now, I mean, that is what's going to happen. Like, if you're in close contact with somebody who has COVID, if you're a student, you're going to be quarantined. I mean, you are.
And it's for the betterment of your child. I don't think they're trying to harm your child or anything. They're trying to
I'm just glad that they can do that. To me, it's better to do that than to shut the whole school down.
Yeah.
Because in some instances, they have completely shut a school down just because a couple of people had it, And I think that's just a little overboard. But
Brian Troy says that's the reason he's going to drive to Salt Lake. Don't want to deal with that thing on the airplane.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing one of those flights, because there are flights that are 10, 11 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine being...
I'm going to tell you, I've started having to, take a break every little bit and go maybe outside, pull my mask down, and take a good breather, because wearing one all day long straight, I mean, by the end of the day, I've got the worst headache. And it does bother you. It does affect you. It's not just in your head. It affects you just breathing in that. I guess it's carbon dioxide. You keep breathing.
I had to go to Rush Hospital yesterday for a quick meeting, and you had to wear one going in there. And I tell you, I was on the elevator by myself over there going, and I pull it down, pull it back up, and thank goodness that didn't last any longer than it did, because but it's just a safety precaution there, and I knew when I went in I had to wear it. But boy, it is so different when you're used to breathing air.
And people who have asthma, I mean, it makes that worse.
I didn't even think about that.
It does.
That's a good point.
I think I've developed asthmatic type stuff going on with me. I don't know, like later in life, I sound like a hypochondriac. Seriously though, I mean, you can do that. I guess later in life, just develop some issues going on. But when I wear that mask, I mean, I literally feel like I'm getting congested, like I can't breathe. Yeah. But I just have to deal with it. So.
In other news, and I know you're tired of us always talk, but that's in the news every day.
Right.
This is happening Saturday night, and it would probably be pretty cool. I'm sure you can watch it online somewhere. But the former president of the United States, is going to MC a match, a boxing match, Holyfield versus Belfort.
He's going to MC it.
Donald J. Trump will MC it. So this should be interesting. And with that, they asked the president, if you were in the ring, who would you want to fight? He goes, without a doubt. And it would be a knockout. Guess who it would be?
Oh, yeah.
Biden. He said he could take him out with one punch.
Yeah, I would love to hear Donald Trump MC this thing. He'd probably up there. I'm the best MCer
there ever was. And, you go back, and all of this goes back to that thing when Biden was saying that he would drag Trump out behind the barn or some building. Y'all remember that? And that's what that's totally about.
That's crazy.
But, boy, would that not be some
Biden
great
wouldn't
entertainment?
even know how to get behind the barn. He'd be lost trying to get back around.
You're probably right on that. Now, they have offered Bill Clinton, this company that hired Donald to do this, they've offered Bill Clinton the opportunity to do it also. But there's been no word yet on if. I don't think Bill would do it. But apparently there's some money behind it.
MCN?
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Because I guess it draws a lot of people to watch the match that may not have been there beforehand.
Yeah.
So think of all the Trump supporters that will watch, even if they don't like boxing.
Bill Clinton might be over there saying, want one of them ring women to meet him
Do they
behind the
still
bar.
have ring girls? Because I hadn't watched in years.
I don't know.
They used to be cute and walk around.
Yeah,
like,
I think they used to, round 5.
Daisy done that in the Dukes of Hazzard episode.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say I didn't watch it 4 times.
Yeah, I bet you did, Scotty.
Back in the day, a few of the things that were going on. Also, speaking of Donald, he is in advanced talks of selling his hotel in Washington, the International Hotel in D.C. He may get rid of it. Donald's always swapping and trading. It's not that big of a story. I just thought I'd tell you about it. That's a few things that's happening there. Let's go down memory lane. We got a few things that happened back in the day, and I thought we'd bring up. What did I do with it, Candace? It's supposed to have been right there. All right, here we go. Let's get down here to what happened on this date. It was 1897. Hard to believe this even existed, but they handed out the very first DUI in 1897. He was 25 years old, had a little bit too much to drink, and he got him a big old ticket.
1897.
Yeah, that's when cars were very first starting. I guess you had that little handle in the beginning, that was set up front. There you go. Bill O'Reilly has a birthday today. Y'all remember Bill?
Yeah.
Born in 1949 on this date. And there's not supposed to be a space after that, but oops, we're live and it's okay.
So he's what, 72?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Bill.
Yes.
And this probably saved a lot of men who didn't know how to cook. The very first one hit 19, and I guess there's a few women that probably.
I have eaten many, many, many TV dinners.
1953 was the very first one that was ever sold.
Love that brownie that you got to just dig out of the hole.
Do they still make those? The Swanson?
I don't know if they still make them. I don't know, but we used to eat them all the time. Like when it was just me and my mama.
Yeah. That's what y'all
We'd eat
had.
TV dinners for supper sometimes. I didn't complain about it. I mean,
Millions of Americans have watched the backside of this man since 1955. If this picture doesn't ring a bell, well, then you need to go back and do some more studying. Gunsmoke debuted on this night back in 1995, and we always saw that backside of Marshal Matt Dillon right before he jerks that gun. And you say, why is John Wayne there?
yeah, the Duke. Why is the Duke?
The Duke was offered the role of Matt Dillon, and he wouldn't take it. But he goes, hang on. He said, I got a good friend that's worked with a few of my movies, and I think y'all ought to take him. So he comes on national television that night, the night it premiered, and goes, hey, I'm John Wayne, and I want y'all to watch this guy named James Arnaz. He's a pretty good actor, and I think y'all are going to like him. And he brought forth Gunsmoke the very first show.
Okay.
So I just thought y'all might want to know that. Probably a lot of folks remember that. She went a little wild later in life, but it went into a studio and was recorded on this date, and it crossed over big time. Rose Garden.
Okay.
I never go around singing that, but it was a crossover
I
hit.
beg your pardon. I never promised you a rose.
Did you like it?
No. I mean, it was,
I respect that it was a hit,
Yeah.
but it was not my favorite.
She went wild. What
She was arrested for shoplifting before she. I don't know what caused it, but she was arrested several times there right before she.
When they went to arrest her, I wondered if she go, I beg you.
It was a bad day for her. Real bad day. Alex Trebek, if I said his name right, Trebek, debuted in 1984. And I have to say, I have never watched that show.
I tried watching it several times. These people are too smart.
It was way over my head.
Yeah, they have to go through like some kind of a handbook or something.
I cannot answer a question with a question, or isn't that how you done it?
Yeah. But some of the stuff these people know is crazy to me. Like, how do you know that? Like, the first flea ever born was born in the West Indies. And how do you?
I know American history pretty good. I don't know everything, but there's subjects out there, and you have to be so broad.
Yeah.
And I guess you speed read something before you go there. But back on my level, I remember 1987 like it was yesterday, and this was the #1 album, Always and Forever. Randy Travis. Who remembers that?
I do. We used to listen to Randy Travis and Brooks and Dunn.
Look at that, 1991. Can y'all believe Brand New Man, it's been that long ago, was #1 on this date? It shocks me that it's been that long. And then we wound up with 1992. I Don't Need Your Rocking Chair was the #1 song across America.
I liked that.
That was a good one.
That was the year I graduated.
92?
Mm-hmm. 92.
Boy, it has flown. That's a few of the things that happened on this date. George Jones there. And then, of course, the big controversy would come a few later is when he recorded Choices. Mm-hmm. And the Country Music Association would not let George come sing it. So Alan comes out to sing his song and stops after 3 seconds at the CMA Awards and sings Choices, puts down his guitar and walks off, doesn't return. That was a pretty neat moment that night of being there.
Yeah.
Like that. So that was a few things that happened on this date. As we look around, this is a concern. We're bringing in all of these people to our country.
Right.
A lot of Afghanians, and God bless them. We know that they want out where they are. But they say that in Wisconsin at the Army base where they're housing all these, measles are starting to be a big problem with them there because they're not vaccinated for anything.
And I mean, most people who get their children vaccinated, I guess they're vaccinated against measles, but I don't know how effective that is. I mean, because I don't know if we've had a whole lot of cases of that in the United States. Since years ago. So I don't know, but it just blows my mind that they're pushing and pushing the vaccination stuff with the vaccine right now with COVID, and they're fining people on airplanes,
right?
And yet they're letting people come in by the droves that have
no telling
God knows what. I mean, who knows? We know measles now. I mean,
we're just gonna go ahead and say they all got cooties because we don't know what it is.
Well, like smallpox, that was something that was eradicated, wasn't it, years ago? I don't know. And who's to say that they're not going to bring something like that back into the country? Tuberculosis. I mean, that could be a bad thing. I don't know.
We hope that gets it. And how this snuck past me, I did not realize it, but there is a rally planned in Washington on September the 18th. Were you aware of that?
I was not.
Well, they got one coming
So
up.
they're putting the fences back up.
Fences, they're saying they got all hands on deck this time, so there's not another insurrection.
So they're not going to call in the National Guard again, I guess, and not feed them.
Yeah, well, the police.
They can sleep on the floor.
The National Guard, I don't think, is involved, but all of the Capitol Police is going to be involved. And we all know that they were told to stand down and not told to come to work that day, so it would look really bad.
Right.
But this is one of Trump's former campaign managers that is putting this on. And again, September the 18th is when it will be there.
Now, what is the rally? It's about what?
Let's see here. It's led by Matt, as you pronounce that, Brainard. He's a former Trump who's requested a permit for up to 500 people to demonstrate at noon in Union Square called Justice for Rally 6 is what that. The event is intended to support the arrested as a result of the January 6th. It's in support of people that were arrested. I guess they're trying to raise money for legal fees or whatnot. There's probably going to be a lot more people arrested on this. You know, that anybody steps out of line, they're going. And I hope it's peaceful. We don't need anything else for people to.
Right.
But I didn't know. I just did not know that was happening. I guess I need to start watching Tucker or somebody at night again.
I didn't know it was that. But I have not been watching TV the last few days much. I mean, I hadn't. It's been busy.
I missed all the news headlines, apparently, when it comes to that. That was a tricky one. We'll see that.
Hopefully that goes well. Like you said, and they don't have any people arrested because, it'll be blown out of proportion.
Oh, it will be.
So.
Wish them well with their little guy. Everybody has the right to gather peacefully.
Right.
Always remember that. Now, as we look at headlines across America and things that go on, there are things that just really are not worth arguing over because sometimes they escalate and people's tempers have just gotten extremely bad. I mean, we go to California with this next thing, and we've all been there to where you're pulling up to get the parking place. You've been waiting 5 minutes for the little old lady to back out of the parking place.
Right.
And she
Like
takes
Medea.
her time. And then the car from the other direction whips in and takes it away from you.
You remember the scene in Medea?
Yeah. That was funny.
Where she gets forklift and she lifts the car and pulls it up and drops it at the front door of the store.
Love that scene.
Yeah, that's fun.
So we've all kind of lived that moment, I think. But this got out of hand when a husband and wife were shot and killed over a parking spot. Did I say that right? Sparking spot?
Yeah, sparking spot.
Whoops. But how does this happen? How does things get that far out of hand over a parking place that will not matter 10 minutes from then?
People are crazy. It's
Walk a little further.
Right. I know. But people are crazy. I mean, they'll kill you over $5 and they'll kill you over a parking spot. I mean, it's just crazy.
I just, maybe yell at somebody for a second, stick your tongue out at them, go about your business if you feel that urge. But don't whip out zip ties and other means of harming somebody.
Yeah.
So I thought you ought to know that. That's California.
Management.
They do. There's a lot of it. And I think, and tell me if I'm wrong on this, I think a lot of anger management I've never played them, has to deal with this false sense of video games where people have played video games and they can take out anger on that video and shoot people and hurt people and everything's okay.
Yeah.
And they take that mentality from something that's not real to reality and people really get hurt.
Yeah.
Is that analogy wrong?
I mean, that is possible, you know, especially with the young people, you know, that are doing it. But anybody, really. It doesn't have to be a young person. Because, I mean, there's adults that play video games every day.
Yeah, I know.
But especially if you take somebody that's not mentally stable in the first place. And then they, you know.
Yeah,
that's not a good mixture.
You never know. And this just goes down to this. You never know who you're talking to. And I mean that as in, like she just said, maybe they got a few bricks shy of a full load
They
there.
might have several personalities. You don't know which person.
Right. I mean, I talk to myself all the time.
And I answer myself.
I think everybody has done that.
No, yeah. I mean, we were watching the other night. It was the funniest thing. Y'all need to pull it up if you have not pulled it up before and watched it.
Little Red Riding Hood?
No, American Idol and like, what is it? America's Got Talent. It was like, well, I think it was mainly America's Got Talent, but the people who come on there and they get angry when they get turned down, when they tell them you can't sing. Like, I don't know who told you could sing, but you know, you can't sing and you couldn't get a crowd to listen to you. And they get mad. And there was this one girl on there. She was like really crazy. I mean, you could tell. And she was like so surprised when they told her she couldn't sing. And when I tell you, it was like fingernails going down a chalkboard when she opened her mouth. Yes. But it's very funny. But like that, you just don't know who you're getting.
And let me warn y'all of this, because I've been there in these shoes before. Talent shows. There's a lot of people enter talent show, but this happened to me about 3 years ago. And the talent show that I was a judge in was probably 2001, 2002. I'm off with Cornbread. A good friend of mine, Cornbread, come to town and said, let me take you to lunch, Scotty Ray. So me and him go to lunch, and we're sitting there, and this nice lady that I thought come up and spoke to me. And she ain't forgot 2001 when her baby daughter did not win the talent show. And she commenced to ripping me, and I'm telling you, she lit into me like that.
Don't talk about my mama like that, Scotty
And
Ray.
I think I really thought that woman was going to get her purse and whoop upside my head.
Yeah.
And bad part is, I had no idea who her daughter was at that point because it'd been so many years.
Yeah.
But she'd been living with that for about 15 years or so.
She was waiting on you, wasn't she? She was just waiting on running into you one
That
day.
opportunity when I sat down in that booth, she goes, there he is with the cowboy hat. Let me go get
There
him.
he is. I'm going to get him, give him a piece of my mind.
But I laughed
my
about
baby.
it. I laugh about it now, but she did not appreciate that. And I am so sorry your daughter did not win.
And it wasn't me, but I didn't win. That's you know, I told you I was in a talent show that Scotty Ray was announcing one time. It was at the mall.
Boy, those were fun.
I thought I was going to pass out. I was so nervous. Like, I was sweating profuse. Like, I don't even think
There
I could
was a
breathe.
lot of people that turned out to watch those. Those crowds were big each weekend.
I can't do it because I'm sitting down, but if you can imagine, like, you know, people who, when they get up there to sing and it's a fast song, they're doing their feet to the side to side. That's how I was doing. I was so nervous. And then after it, I was like, why did I do
your
that?
family
Why did I
video
get
it?
up and do that? I don't know. It was the girls that I work with. They came, you know. And I think Jennifer that I work with was in I think she was in it too. And she sung maybe Valentine by Martina McBride. I sung a Sugarland song, I think. But anyway, that was fun.
Stay?
It's funny now, and I can
Why
make
don't
fun of
you
myself,
stay?
you know.
Well, girl,
no,
come
it wasn't a slow song. It was a fast song because, I mean, I like I was stomping ants on the floor.
Down Mississippi and up to no good then.
That's what it was.
That's the only fast one I know about them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's Baby Girl.
Well, it was the Down in Mississippi and Up to No Good song.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
what it was.
Let's take a minute and talk about our friends at Maple's One Stop Shop. Folks, if you need gas, a place to go get a cold drink that is conveniently and nice, go by there. Now, again, we bring this up because who couldn't win or couldn't use an extra $50? When you buy gas, make sure to put your name on the back of your receipt and give it to the attendant inside. Weekly, they draw for a $50 fuel card. Got 4 locations. Your odds are good, and you got to have gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$50. That's
I
Pay the
like
gas
this.
for a week.
Of course, if you need some community coffee to make your world function, they got that also. Some folks take the other opposite and have to have the caffeine in the drink. Whatever the case is, they've got the fountain drinks, they've got bottle drinks. They do all of this for you there at Maples. Clean, nice place. And if you need a place to grab lunch, Bonita Chevron or Pine Springs Country Store, they got a little bit of it all there. You can get the slice of pizza, a bag of potato chips, and a 20-ounce fountain drink, $4.99.
$4.99. You cannot beat that.
No, see them. Again, you can get your crickets and a whole lot more at the bait shop at the country store. Drop in and get your lottery tickets, ice cream, whatever it is. Bonita Chevron, you can't beat them. They're open 24/7. Pine Springs Country Store, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And also, Last Chance Tobacco, 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And Broadmoor Chevron. See them. They'll help you in any way they can. They're great folks.
Making my way back home from the grocery store, I was struck by an 18-wheeler. It was horrible. My life changed in an instant, and I discovered I needed help.
I'm Mississippi Attorney Richard Schwartz. I'm proud to represent the people of the great state I call home.
And welcome back with Scotty Ray and Candace. And I got a metal detector, and I think they're pretty cool to go out and you play around with them a little bit. But this guy here unearthed, he's a Danish, first time I think he'd ever done it. Went out and dug up 22 pieces of 15-year-old pre-Viking gold. What are the odds? You'll never top that.
Yeah. I'm not lucky like that.
No, I find nails and pop tops from 1972.
Yeah.
I think I found a dime one time. But
That is fun, though.
It is.
Yeah,
I still
I
enjoy
think it'd be
it.
neat to take one to a beach.
I ain't thought
I
about
bet you'd
that.
find jewelry and everything out there.
Because people get to drinking and they get to throwing wedding rings at each other. I don't like you no more. You looked at her.
Yeah.
You've seen that at the beach, hadn't you?
Oh, yeah. I've probably done it at the beach. I probably just said, oh, who you looking at?
Oh, that's why
You want to go talk to her?
I've always been told sunglasses, that's why so many sunglasses are on the beach, so you can't get caught with the eye contact. You truth to that?
That's pretty smart, I guess.
Darker the better. It's kind of like your car.
Yeah.
Yeah. If she ain't the prettiest old girl, make sure your windows are dark. Protect others. I'm just trying to help everybody here.
Oh, goodness.
Let's see some other things.
Take her a mask.
Do y'all remember that group ABBA back in the 70s?
I remember, yeah.
What was this? Dancing Girl, Dancing Machine. That's the only thing I remember.
Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen. I didn't listen to their music, but I do know that the two girls come out in short shorts and they danced around a lot, and two boys sang. Well, they've gotten back together and recorded a new album. If you're a big ABBA fan, and I guess you pronounce it ABBA, it was A with a B spelled backwards.
Yeah.
So if you're a big ABBA fan, you may want to go out and check that out.
All right. I
Just-
wasn't a big ABBA fan, though.
It wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
That just, well, can't help it. Let's see, in other headlines, there's a couple things that I wanted to, Howard Stern, what do you say about this guy?
Gruff.
Regardless of what you believe, if somebody passes away, I think you should show respect.
Definitely, yes.
There have been a lot of right-wing anti-vaxxer announcers that are on radio that have been against the vaccination, and bless their hearts, they passed away. And he's been on air making fun of them.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Well, you
It's
shouldn't do that.
Totally disrespectful. I don't agree with that at all.
If you, I mean, just use some common courtesy. And I know that's made him big, being the big controversial guy, but that ain't right. Can I say it any other way? I really don't.
Well, when he said this line, he said, a 4-letter word, told him, and said if you, that you had the cure and you could have, it's not a cure.
No.
It's not a cure. Just because you get a shot doesn't mean you're not going to give give the virus to someone, because you can.
In closing, we want to remind you of this. Tomorrow is the anniversary of 9/11. A lot of Americans lost their lives on that. Now, the New York counter-terrorism says that the city is supposed to be safe. Right. Let's hope so. It is the 20th anniversary. We always know that there are bad guys out there that still want to do the same. There's people that right now that are wanting to rewrite history and change what happened and make you believe that it wasn't terrorist. Right. It was terrorists that killed our brothers and sisters. There's no other way to word it. Be safe tomorrow, no matter where you go.
Right.
Watch your surroundings. I don't care what city you're watching us from right now. Make sure to do that.
Well, yeah, because there's so many people have fled into this country that some are probably terrorists, and there's no doubt in my mind that they're probably in every state in this country.
You're absolutely right.
So, yes, be extra careful and mindful of everybody around you.
And keep those families. It may have been 20 years, but they ain't forgotten.
Right. Don't ever forget. And don't ever hesitate to, teach your children this history, because it is a history that we don't need to forget and we need to respect.
Thank y'all for dropping by. We appreciate it. Enjoy your weekend. We're going to come back Monday morning, regardless. We're coming. Join us.
Have a blessed weekend.
Scotty Ray's Weather is brought to you by